Okay, this is dragon number 13, and this is the green tunneling Lindwurm. Now, one of the things that makes a Lindwurm unique or stand out from the other dragons is a Lindwurm is essentially a snake with two arms. So that anatomy is something that I was looking to adhere to. Now, I don't show a lot of the body eventually, but I figured, the guy was basically very snake-like. So I wanted to give him a little bit more personality and a little more shape than that by giving him some, pretty recognizable shoulder muscles, delineation there, and all that kind of thing. But I also thought it would be interesting to have sort of a couple of rows of spikes actually. It's kind of going down his back. I just thought that was an interesting addition to the design of him, But again, tunneling, and you'll see it looked to me just from the gesture in this particular guy that he was kind of popping out of a little, almost like a manhole type of thing, a little burrow. So the again, the idea that he's pretty much a snake, I'm still looking to create more secondary form and muscle in the design of this thing. I just don't want him to be a big cylinder. So that's where, using this, like the large sort of area that I have, the side of that neck there, I get to play around with. There's kind of a secondary muscle that runs along the back, the spine, these big neck muscles and things like that. And even though the main shape is cylindrical, there are these little secondary forms that help break that up. And I think that that's kind of interesting. And then it moves back into that, you can kind of see the shoulder there and the neck muscle. It seems to me, I mentioned this before, that, some of these, the design aspects of these dragons, I think of as coming from like a utilitarian place. And I sort of think to myself, well, if this guy's pulling himself through a tunnel, the barbs and the horns and things might actually help open the tunnel up as he goes through it to compensate for what he needs at his shoulder width. Just sort of a tunneling technique or something that, he's specifically adapted for. So again, I try and keep that kind of stuff in mind, and that will, influence me when I take these pieces to finish, later. That will definitely help me decide on, what to do with the backgrounds. Now, and this is another, the head itself, it is a triangular, what I would call a triangular sort of dragon head. But again, looks pretty different from some of the other ones because there are no horns on the head itself, really. The sort of the temple horns that most dragons have, some kind of. There's none of that here, so we get to make up for that a little bit with the other horns on the back. But even his snout kind of looks, I don't know. He looks grumpy. So maybe he just needs to get out in the sunlight a little more. But anyway, there we go. Just finishing up a little bit of the scale detail there. Dragon number 13, the green tunneling Lindwurm. We'll see you next time.